Welcome to week 1 practice for Kapha and Balance. So this is going to be a yoga practice that you'll do the first week of your program in order to help balance the Kapha dosha that might be just a little bit out of balance. So we'll use some breath work, some meditation, and asana. To get us started, you are going to want to have a couple yoga blocks handy for this practice, and of course a mat and plenty of space and comfy clothes. All right, let's begin by just sitting up nice and tall. You can take easy seated pose, dropping the shoulders down the back, and just begin, if it's okay with you, to close your eyes. If that's a little uncomfortable, you can keep them partially open, just kind of looking down the bridge of the nose. I want to just tune in to all of our senses for a moment and just recognize how we're going to show up to this practice today. There's no judgment. Maybe we're feeling a bit heavy, whether it be physically or heavy-hearted. Maybe the energy is a bit sluggish or slow. So we'll work today to just lighten the load, draw the energy up, breathe easy, nice smooth breath, slowing it down. One way that we can really tune in to our physical body is by using our Ujjayi breath. So Ujjayi breath is where we can hear the sound of our breath. Now the way we can learn to do this is go ahead, maybe open your eyes if you haven't already, and you're just going to place your hand up in front of your mouth, not touching it, and then act as though you're going to fog up a mirror with your breath. So a little. Feel what happens in the back of your throat when you do that. There's a small constriction near the epiglottis. Now let's see if we can mimic that feeling in the back of the throat while breathing in and out through the nose. This will cause you to hear the sound of your breath. This is called Ujjayi breath. Sounds a little like an ocean wave or a quiet Darth Vader. So let's practice. You can again close your eyes if that's best. And we inhale, exhale, inhaling, exhaling. Let's do that several more times. Great, and throughout the practice, just bring that Ujjayi breath in several times. Tune into the breath. I'll remind you sometimes, but you can do it at any time. Now today we're going to take just a bit of what I call moving meditation with the breath. We're simply going to try to concentrate on one thing during this time, which is just our breath moving with our body. So maybe that's two things, breath with movement. But on an inhale breath, we're going to reach the arms all the way up overhead, and then we're going to do this for the entire length of the inhale breath until the fingertips touch together at the end of the breath. You can pause if you'd like, the breath and the movement, and then we're going to exhale for the entire length of the movement of the arms down to the earth until the fingertips touch the floor. All right, so we're going to move at our own pace here, just inhaling, exhaling. Now I prefer to do this moving meditation with the eyes closed, so if that works for you, let's do a few more. You can feel free to close the eyes. Just notice any tendency as you keep the movement up for any other thoughts to try to creep in besides your breath with your movement. And just tap the awareness back to this one activity, moving meditation. We're going to do a few more of these, and this time On that inhale breath, if it's possible, maybe lift your chest a little bit and look up. And on the exhale, looking forward, not down, just forward. And again, the eyes can be closed while you're doing this, but the action of though I was lifting my heart and looking to the sky. Good. We should be getting very comfortable with that breath, with movement now. Let's take one more cycle. Great work. And then just go ahead and maybe shake out the hands and the arms just a bit. All right, so we're going to stretch out the neck next. You want your shoulder blades to rest firmly down the back so they're not climbing up by your ears, and your hands can rest on your knees. Simply lower the chin down towards the chest, and then as though my hand was sitting right here on the back of your head, you're just going to push your head up a little bit into that imaginary hand. Good. And then let's take the right ear towards the right shoulder, leaving the left shoulder down. If I make any suggestions that don't feel good for your body, you can skip it or modify it in any way that you see fit. I'll give you several modification options. So here, if I'm feeling great, this left side of my neck feels awesome, maybe I'll just reach my arm out on a diagonal. Just adding a little stretch, and you can even circle a couple times one direction and then the other. All right, nice job. Let's bring that left hand back in, pick the head up in line with the spine, then tilt the head over to the left, feeling that right shoulder. Maybe if it starts to lift, we're going to encourage it to stay down. And then possibly if you did it on the other side and it would feel good on this side, bring that arm out to the side, right arm out, and then just circle, keeping the shoulder down, the hands not lifted real high here. And then maybe a few the other direction. And then it might feel good to just roll out the neck several times and some half circles. I like to close the eyes and just breathe here. Good, and then lower back down, chin to the chest, pause. Maybe grip the knees and take an inhale where you look back up to the sky, lifting the heart, dropping the shoulders. And exhale, gazing forward, shoulders over the hips. Great, let's take another reaching inhale, reach up overhead, and on the exhale, turn your torso over to the right, drop your right fingertips behind you, and your left fingertips onto your right thigh. We're sitting up nice and tall here, and then we're just taking a turn, spiraling through the spine and looking back over our shoulder if possible. Imagine a nice flow of energy just coming from the base of your spine and spiraling all the way up. Good, let's inhale, unwind the arms and look up, reach for the sky. And then exhale, take it to the other direction, placing the left fingertips behind you, the right fingertips on the left thigh. We can use this press on the thigh to get deeper into the twist if the spine says it's okay to do so. And then maybe we turn the gaze. Beautiful, let's go ahead, unwind again, reaching up for the sky. And then exhale, bring the hands all the way back down. It might feel good to add a couple shoulder rolls here as we prepare to move on to our hands and knees into tabletop position. So as you arrive in your tabletop position, place your wrists underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips, spread those fingers out wide, pull the navel to the spine, hug your ribs together, tap your feet a few times to the top of the mat, wake them up. Good, and then we'll begin a cat-cow series with our breath. If you can add that Ujjayi breath back in, let's go for it. So as you inhale, let your toned belly slip down and your heart slide forward and your gaze lift up. And as you exhale, pull the tailbone down, round out through the spine, push into your mat, lower the head, look back towards your navel. Inhaling, sliding up the spine, one vertebrae at a time into this little sway back cow. Exhaling again, starting at the tail, sliding up the spine, rounding like a Halloween cat where your tail would be tucked though between your legs. Good, keep moving, movement with breath here. Once again, option is yours for eyes open or closed. Finding a little bit more energizing into the body, lighting up the core, keeping that navel pulled up towards the spine. Let's take one more cycle, and then we're going to meet back at neutral spine, flat back. As we move through our cycles of work where we're on our hands today, for safety purposes, make sure you have an external rotation in your shoulders. And the way you can kind of look at that is if I'm on my hands, if I see my inner elbow creases rolling forward towards the front of the mat, I've externally rotated my shoulders. That's a real safe place to be, especially when we're doing things like down dog or chaturanga. So let's go ahead now from here. You might want the blocks, you're free to use them whenever, I don't have to indicate, but go ahead and move your right leg forward into a low lunge. And if you want to grab those blocks to give yourself some more space and bring the earth up to you, absolutely. We want to kick the right knee over the ankle, the left knee under the left hip, squared hips, and then rise up, either hands onto the thigh, or possibly, if we can, arms sweeping up to the sky. We'll keep a forward gaze until we have found our balance. Squeeze the glutes, press the hips forward, press down into that left knee just a little bit, and then, if possible, if the balance is sturdy, take that gaze back upward, lift the heart, look towards the sky. Very nice. Exhaling, take your hands down to the blocks. Going to use the blocks here on either level 1, 2, or 3. It's 1, 2, or 3. And straightening out that front leg. You might have to slide the leg forward a little bit. Setting the hips back a smidge and then toes of the right foot in a straight line from big toe to pinky toe. Half split Ardha Hanumanasana. Here, I'm not as interested in rounding the spine to get my nose down to my knee. At this point, I'd like to feel the hips sweep back, pull some energy up into my body, and lengthen out my spine. So the head is shooting forward, the hips are shooting back. There's a great big pull along that right leg. Don't lock the knee, all right? Find your breath. Sometimes a nice big exhale is necessary. Unlock the jaw. As we're here, if it gets more and more comfortable, instead of scooting further back, maybe lower over the leg a bit more. Keeping the spine long still. We do enough slouching all throughout our day naturally. It's just a habit that most of us have. So this great posture, long spine, very helpful. All right, let's go ahead, come out of this pose. You might work that right foot back and slide the knee back to the left, and then just wiggle it out a little bit. All right, great job. Let's try the other side. Go ahead, bring that left foot forward. Remember, right now we're just looking for some simple 90-degree angles here. Spreading the toes wide on that left foot will help you support, and then finding the balance, hugging the inner thighs together as you reach up towards the sky. Finding a gaze forward until you feel really steady and secure. Then once you do, lift the heart, look up. Anytime we look up, the energy lifts, but it also changes the balance. Go ahead, stay with your breath here another few moments. And then when you're ready to exhale, bring those hands sweeping down like paintbrushes to your blocks. All right, so we'll shift that left leg straight out in front of us without locking the knee. Lift the toes in a nice straight line. So I don't want to sickle the foot so that one of the toes is in front of the other. I'd rather it be a straight line. All right, hips back, long spine, looking forward. Sometimes it helps me to consider if someone was holding my hips, but I was trying to see over a cliff. Good, half split, keep breathing. Notice if this side feels a little bit stickier or was it the other side? There's usually one. Keep opening up your breath. Don't constrict the breath in these poses that are a little sticky. That'll help open up the body. Good. Just a few more breaths. So if you're going to go a little deeper now as things are warming up, feel free. Awesome. And then inhale, rise up, and we'll send that left knee back. You can move the blocks just to the side, but keep them where they're within reach. Bring the hands down to the floor, but wrists are slightly in front of your shoulders now. Remember the external rotation as we rise up to downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. We're gonna send our hips up and back and really begin to pedal those feet, warming the legs. As you're here, just check in. Your fingertips and knuckle beds should be what's gripping the mat. And there's a little gap in the middle of your palm, so like a little ladybug could live under there. Inner elbow creases still more towards the front of the room than towards your head. And then just gently begin to get those sit bones up and back some more towards where your back wall and ceiling meet. Good. If you're still pedaling those feet, maybe find some stillness for a few breaths. And then we're gonna walk to the top of the mat. Take your feet, walk them towards your wrist creases into a forward fold Uttanasana. You can use the blocks at any time, so if they're unable to touch the floor here, I recommend just grabbing those blocks. Good. We're gonna go through some slow sun salutations. Then we're gonna get a little quicker and swifter once we've got the hang of it. Let's inhale, reach the arms all the way out and up to standing. Exhale, Tadasana, hands at the heart, Samastitihi. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Good. Bring hands to the mat, step back to a plank. This first one, I'm gonna offer some modifications. So from this plank, we'll lower both knees to the floor this time. Send the elbows straight back, not out to the sides. As you lower down to your mat, come to your belly. Good. Forehead to the earth, tops of the feet to the earth. Really squeeze the glutes, push the tops of the feet down. Inhale, lift your head and chest off the mat, cobra pose. Any version, we've got a small version where we just barely lift, kind of medium, and then all the way, it's up to you. All right, let's lower back down to the ground. Curl 10 toes under. This first one, we will use our knees and hands to press up and then back to the downward facing dog. Feel free to pedal those feet again. Some of us know this as vinyasa transition. So an instructor might say, take a vinyasa. That is the chaturanga, or knees, chest, and chin. And then the up dog or the cobra that we just did, and then back to the downward facing dog. So let's walk back forward. As you do this practice throughout the week, you may feel yourself getting a little bit stronger and want to bring in a little bit more heat. So let's see what that might look like, but if it's not for today, just go back to what you just did, okay? Inhale, sweep the arms out. Right away, exhale, fold. Let's add a little half lift for fun. Inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Flatten the back, and then exhale, hands to the mat. Stepping on back to that plank. Check in with the external rotation of the shoulders. Now, if I'm gonna go for full chaturanga and leave those knees off the mat, I gotta sweep that weight forward, hug those arms in, and hover above my mat for 3, 2, 1. Shift your heart forward, maybe come to the tops of the feet. So now you might be able to see my legs are off of the mat. And then rolling over the toes, lifting up, downward facing dog. So that would be a full vinyasa, full chaturanga. We want to be careful with the body. If we're not quite ready for chaturanga yet, we can get pinching up in the neck and shoulders. And also a class that might offer you a lot of chaturangas, maybe just take a few in the beginning, then start to support yourself with those knees. All right, come back forward, forward fold. Beautiful. Now let's add a little lunge into this sun salutation, still nice and slow. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Inhale, half lift. Send your heart forward, flatten your back, shoulders towards the hips. Exhale, fold. Now, take your right leg back. We're not going to drop the knee unless it feels necessary here. So I've got my leg up, and then I'm gonna come up to crescent lunge. Notice that the back heel stays off the mat as we rise up to our crescent lunge. Squared hips towards the front of your mat, strong legs holding you up. Maybe pick up through that back leg just a little bit more. Find a good energy here. Inhale. Exhale, take the hands down, step back with the left foot, plank pose, chaturanga. Maybe you want those knees down, elbows back. Cobra or up dog, you can do a knees down and still add an up dog. And then downward facing dog. Good, maybe I'm still pedaling those feet when I hit that down dog, maybe not. Step or hop your way forward, forward fold. If that little hop's in your practice, go ahead and add it in now. Inhale, shift the arms out and up, reach for the sky, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Let's repeat, crescent lunge, side two. You should start to feel a little heat building now. Rise up. Arms into the air, find your stability, stay on the ball of the back foot, dig those toes into the mat a little bit. Nice, you can always look up, but let's not look down. Look forward or up. Keep that upward lifted energy today. Beautiful, exhale, take the hands down, step back, plank, lower to the knees if you'd like, chaturanga. Up dog or cobra, your choice. Downward facing dog. Good. Take a breath or two. Anytime you need a break, you can lower your knees, set your hips back, and go to a child's pose. But get right back into it. We don't want to sit heavy on our mats today. We're increasing the energy. Let's walk forward. Forward fold. That feeling of we don't want to do something starts to leave as we get into actually doing it. By the end, we feel happy that we chose to do it. All right, quicker sun sal with those lunges. It's gonna be one breath, one movement. If you don't get it today, maybe the next time you do this video, inhale, reach out and up. Look to the sky, add the back bend, exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold and take your right foot back. Ready? Inhale, crescent lunge, one breath up. One breath down, exhale, step back to plank and take an inhale at the top of the plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog, your choice. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale and step your way forward. Take a big exhale into the forward fold, sigh it out, and then inhale, sweep the arms to the sky, lift the heart. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands down, left leg back. Crescent lunge, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold the hands to the mat, step back, plank, take a breath. When you hit that exhale, go ahead and chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Nice work. Breathe. Step or hop, top of the mat, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Leave the arms lifted here. Look to the sky. Good, hands to the heart, breathe. We need a little breather to catch the breath. Here's your moment. Straighten the clothes. All right, from here, inhale, reach up. Exhale, sit down to chair pose, Utkatasana. I want to be able to wiggle my toes, the weight's back in the heels. Heart is lifted. I don't want a chair that's falling over, okay? Strong lift. Bring your hands down to the heart. Press the thumbs in. Now dig deep into that left foot, grow some roots, and then step back to a crescent lunge with your right leg. Oh, nice job. We're building some heat here. Push into the left foot, step back, chair, stay low. Other side, left leg steps back, step forward. Let's do that a few more times. Right, forward, left, forward. Keep those hips squared. Right, chair, left, chair, hold. Good, stand it up. Squeeze the glutes. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, take a bow, let it go. Forward fold, deepen this fold a little by pulling some of your weight into the balls of the feet, making the heels feel like they're taking less of the weight, hands on blocks or floor. Nice job. Now from here, we're gonna work our way through a little warrior one. So inhale, sweep the arms all the way out and up. Exhale, sit down back to that chair pose. Good. Now we're going to take that same step back to crescent lunge, but make a little shift. So instead of being up on the ball of your back right foot when you pull the right foot back, you're going to step it back and then drop the heel on a 45-degree angle, but keep your hips squared and then come up to warrior one. If you're not familiar with warrior one, the front knee, and always feel free to adjust like I just did, the front knee is over the ankle, the back foot, can't see it here, but it's on the 45, back here, and it's stepping between the heel. So heel, maybe a little closer to heel alignment will work for us here in warrior one. All right, good job. Now, I'm gonna close off that hip just a little bit more, step forward, chair. Okay, let's repeat it on the other side. Left foot steps back, there's that crescent lunge, pedal the heel down, 45 degrees, hips squared, arms up, Virabhadrasana one. Breathe. Heel alignment, if I could draw a line. Sometimes they might be millimeters off, but that's as close as you can get. Good, step it forward, back to your chair. Nice. Let's inhale, reach up, give those legs a little break, and exhale, fold. All right, so chair builds a lot of heat, but it's also a great stretch, so we're getting stronger and stretchier. So we're gonna keep those chairs coming. Now let's inhale, reach up. Utkatasana chair pose. Now, this time hands to the heart, and we're gonna pretend our knees are against a wall, okay? So look down. If your knees were against a wall, they are in line, right? When we do a twist, your hip's gonna shimmy, and you're gonna wanna pull that knee back by way of your hip, okay? Let's take those hands to heart and then turn our torso to the right, drop the left elbow outside of the right thigh, sit down a little bit more. Notice your knees, are they still together? If not, if that left one came out, shift it back. Press into the hands, stack those elbows and look up. You feel warm, the breath is getting choppier, that's okay, just breathe. Good, come back to the center and we feel tired, we might be like this. Let's push the thumbs into the heart, lift up. Inhale, little break, sweep the arms, exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chair with your hands at your heart. Good, tail is down and back. Small natural curve here, but I'm not overdoing it, I'm not underdoing it. Stick with it. Keep those knees where they're at, hold back, and then go to the other side. Right elbow, left thigh, stacking the elbows. Now the right knee might have slid forward, right hip, so we pull it back for 3 and 2 and 1. We're gonna combine these all together, come back to center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, mountain pose, hands down. Shake out your legs a little bit. You need to grab a sip of water. Grab a sip of water. This is a warming practice right now. It's lifting that energy. So that stale energy that's been pulling us down, making us want to sit on the couch, we're gonna move it out and then we're gonna feel amazing. All right, so from here, inhale, reach up, exhale, chair with hands at heart. Oh goodness, take that twist to the right. Hold your twist, push into your right foot, and step your left foot back into your twisted lunge. Yeah, it's no joke, right? How do we feel? Breathe. You can always look up for a moment. Now we got to get back to that twisted chair. So I'm going to push into that right foot, lift off of the left, come back. Come through center, lift the heart by way of helping it out with those thumbs. Over to the other side. Right elbow, left thigh, breathe. Good. Solid here on that left foot as I sweep the right foot back. Find the lunge. Hips are still squared. I might have to adjust a little bit. Always feel free to make the adjustments. Ready? Step forward. Unwind. Beautiful, heart is lifted. Last breath. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, swan dive. Let's find that vinyasa. Step back plank. Knees or no knees, chaturanga. Elbows will be straight back in either case. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Coming to warrior one, a new way. Last time we did a fun little step back. This time we'll do a step forward. Don't worry if your foot doesn't get there on the first try. You might have to step, step, step. That's okay. Send your left leg up into the air, three-legged dog. Look forward between your hands and step your left foot to the top of the mat. Again, if I get a little stuck at like mid-mat, I can even grab with my left hand and just kind of help it up, okay? Once you're there, heel down on that right foot and look more specifically for that heel-heel alignment that we were talking about that happens in a warrior one. It's a little easier to get when you're coming from the bottom up. Ready? Lift the arms, square the hips. So in general, warrior one, your hip might be a little bit turned, but you don't want warrior two hips here. So slide it to the front. Arms are lifted. Gaze is easy. Take your hands now behind your back. You're going to clasp the hands together. Lower the knuckles, lift the chest, lift the gaze. Left shoulder is going to find the inside of the left knee. Ready? Humble warrior. Take a bow. Let those arms reach for the sky if possible. Good. Dig down into those feet. Grow some roots. Breathe. Awesome. Inhale. Rise back up. Let the arms go and float into the sky. Nice work. Take the hands all the way down to your blocks. Find those blocks and start to straighten out your left leg. Square your hips. As you straighten the left leg, that right foot's not moving. If it does need to move to get squared hips, make it a slight turn in, so toes more forward. Pyramid pose. I really enjoy this one. It is a great stretch. Now, as your hips are squared, so again, left hip back, right hip forward, pressing into both feet as equally as possible. Pulling the head forward. If I want to start to come lowered over that leg, I'm going to go step by step by step, okay? And turn my blocks down to the lower level for this. Think of your body touching down one part at a time. So I'm going to go belly, and that's kind of the left edge of the belly. I'm going to go chest, then I'm going to go nose. Okay, so not rounding. I want to come down one body part at a time. That way, if I'm not ready for nose, I stop at chest. If I'm not ready for chest, I stop at belly, but I still have that beautiful long spine. All right, great work. Step forward, forward fold. Woo. Move the blocks a little bit. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale to a half lift that we're gonna hold. I'm looking out in front of me again, just kind of like I'm peeking over a cliff, but I'm gonna keep my shoulders back, my back flat, hands are just below the knees. One more big breath, exhale, fold, put your hands to the mat, step back, plank pose. From your plank, straight to down dog without moving the hands or knees. Hands or feet, sorry, excuse me. All right, let's take it plank to down dog 3 times. So we go back to the plank, inner elbow creases forward, back to the down dog, lift up and back. Back to the plank, build some heat, feel your core firing up, back to the down dog. Good, if you want on this last one, you can even swim over those toes a little bit and roll back up over them. Left leg rises, 3-legged dog. Good, step that left leg through. Beautiful. Peel that heel down, come back to your warrior one. Nice, breathe. Love it. Take the hands back down and simply turn the right toes around. Step back, down dog. Take the right leg up, three-legged dog. Look forward, step the right foot through. Woo. Good. Peel the left heel down, warrior one. So we're learning warrior one today. Keep checking those alignment cues. Heel, heel alignment, hips forward. If I feel like I'm tweaking that back knee, my trick is push a little more weight into the back side of the foot, into that pinky side. Open that hip up just a bit more. No collapsing. All right, hands down behind the back. Maybe you go for a clasp that feels funny, putting the opposite finger on top. Lower the knuckles down. Hinge forward. We're looking for right shoulder inside of right knee. Good. Deepen the bend in that right knee if you can, so it's over the ankle. If it's slightly behind, it's no problem. Good. Catch that breath. Whew. Nice work. Let's rise it back up. Inhale. Warrior one. Exhale. Take those hands down. Turn the left toes back around. Step back, plank. 3 more times from plank to down dog. Push the hips up and back. And then plank pose. External rotation in the shoulders as I rise back. Hips high, down dog, heart back. Plank pose. Get the bum out of the air. One more time. Beautiful. Good. Take it back to that three-legged dog, right side again. And last time here, warrior one, right side, left heel drops down. Now just nail that warrior one. Maybe look up, feel that energy. It's so good. You're doing it, you feel amazing. Good, and then exhale, take those hands back down. Straighten out your right leg and pyramid pose. Good, as you hold this pyramid, again, hands to the blocks if that is going to be what makes it so that you can have good posture here instead of being really rounded. And we want those hips squared. So if I get loosey-goosey, the hips will be everywhere. We're in control. Exhale, lower the belly, lower the ribs. Next exhale, lower the nose. Again, don't have a goal to get there today. You've got plenty of time to come back to this video over the course of the first week, and you can repeat it even in the up and coming weeks or any time that you need to just amp your energy a little bit. Feel strong, get flexible. All right, very good. Inhale, lift up a little bit. We're going to transition differently now. Bend your right knee, step your left foot forward, and find that forward fold. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up. We're going to come down to some stretches now. Exhale, fold. Bringing us into down dog is a means of transition. I'm going to walk those feet back. I want to hit that three-legged dog again, lifting the leg up into the air. Now, as I bend the knee, I'm going to shift my weight forward and place that right knee behind the right wrist, the right ankle behind the left wrist. So I've paralleled my front shin to the mat. Drop it down and drop down your left knee. So I'm still very lifted. I don't know if you can tell that from the video, but I'm going to get down low by just taking my left knee back one step at a time. Okay, let your right bum just float off the mat. Keep your pelvis level. If this was a punch bowl, I don't want to tilt my punch bowl and spill all that good punch. All right, so we're level. From there, if you're feeling great, you can come down lower. If you're a little challenged here, just stay up high and find your breath. Otherwise, let's take those arms down and find the mat. Good, and then still option to come down even lower. Ooh, and bring the head to the mat. Slow the breath a little bit here. Maybe come back to your Ujjayi breath. If your head wants to come somewhere between the floor and upright, you can always stack a couple fists or grab a block and bring the floor to you. Pigeon pose is one of those love-hates, and if this really isn't for your knees, you can roll onto your back and do a little figure four. Same outer hip and glute are going to get that stretch, okay? But if you can be in this forward pigeon, go ahead and take it. Beautiful work. Just stay with me a little bit longer here. Good. Now, let's find a proud pigeon. Walk back to the hands in case you've come down. If you're still on your hands, maybe come up onto your fingertips, like little tents. Lift your heart, drop your shoulders, open your throat, gaze up. Good. Take the hands back down to the earth. Curl your left toes under, pick up your right hip, slide that right leg back, downward facing dog. You might need to rearrange it, that's okay. Let's take it to the other side. Left leg rises up. Paralleling that left shin, I'm gonna shift the weight forward, swim that left ankle behind the right wrist, lower the right knee, and step, step, step it back till I can't do it anymore. It's okay for this heel to come in towards your right hip, just as much as it needs to, and maybe no more, huh? All right, and then maybe lowering down. Ooh, yeah. Sometimes it's a little spicy, so we want to stay with achy, not painful. Progress, not perfection. So keep working towards the shapes and the alignment cues, but don't beat yourself up if they don't look like mine or they don't look like the front of Yoga Journal. It's not the goal. All right. If you lower on down, keep the positive, uplifted energy going. So I'm lowering the body, but I'm not lowering the mood. I'm not lowering the energy. I'm keeping my energy in the breath, in the shape of this pose. One more big breath. If we're down low, we're going to head back onto those hands, taking the time, onto the fingertips, and then lifting the heart. Proud pigeon, open up. Hands flat on the ground as we prepare to come to our final down dog of the practice. Pick yourself up, sweep that left leg back, hips really high now, heels really low, heart back, breathe. Let this pose traction your spine open, heavy head. We're inverted. All right, let's go ahead, drop on down to those knees. Widen the knees a little bit if that feels great to you. As we come into a child's pose, set the hips back. And again, even though we're slowing down, getting more stretchy, you might consider just keeping a little bit of this lifted positive energy flowing through all of your layers. Find it in your energy level, find it in your mind, so the mind is not dull, it's lit up. Your body is not feeling heavy anymore, it's feeling light, maybe even tingly. Maybe even your spirits are lifted. Inhale into the back body now, feeling the back ribs just expanding, and then exhaling, sink down just a bit. Good, on the next inhale into the back body, let's find a lift up, and we're gonna come around to our seat. All right, so we'll take a pose called Janu Sirsasana. Take your left leg forward and your right foot into the left thigh. So it looks a bit like I've created a figure 4 here. Now, generally what happens is your sit bones, left and right, the right one's gonna sit a little bit back. So if you can, just adjust your sit bones so they're besties side by side, all right? Then from there, reach up, lift the heart, lift the gaze, and look towards the toes. Fold. Do you remember earlier when I said keep those toes in a straight line in our half split? Same idea here. And then there'll be a small, I'm sure, rounding in the back, but we're not gonna overdo it and create turtle shells. We're still gonna find an active pose, lengthening out. Good, stay with your breath. Good, from here, look towards your toes. Inhale, lift back up, shoulders in line with your hips. Pick up your right knee and place your right foot down. You have an option to leave this left leg where it's at, or go ahead and bend it. I'm gonna leave it where it's at for this twist. I'm gonna wrap the left arm around the right, sit up tall, and find a twist of the belly into the right thigh. Now this twist can go a little deeper. I've got this extra meaty leg I can hang on to and twist deeper in. Now you want to be careful with your twist. If you've ever been told you have osteoporosis or early stages of any back injury, then you maybe wouldn't go and, press into this twist quite as deeply. But if it's healthy spine, healthy back, let's go ahead, find that twist. It's also really good for activating digestion. So if you've had some sluggish digestion, these twists can be really great. All right, nice work. Go ahead and unwind your twist, come back around. Now, from here, the left knee is gonna bend and come back so your foot sits kind of beside your glute. And the right leg is going to just take a parallel shin to the front. Now, your left knee might be pointed straight forward. If that's you, just go ahead and take it slightly to the left. So I have a little diagonal from my hip to my knee. Good psoas stretch here. I'm gonna take my hands behind me and start to walk back. Walk the hands back, lean back, look down towards your belly, or if you've got healthy, happy neck, you can drop the head back. We can go as far as down to our elbows. Or, and if you're at home alone, make sure you can get back up. You can lie all the way down. All right, let's settle in here. Arms can either be on the holding you up, or if you're lying down, hands can be to your belly or just open. If that left knee is floating a little bit off the ground, that's not a problem, but let's make sure that we're not holding it up. We've got it kind of floating gently towards the earth. You might notice as we stretch the psoas, because all things are connected, that your back starts to feel a little something. If that happens, I want you to just soften the mid and low back. Try to relax. We're going to be here a few more breaths. If you've come all the way down, getting up can be a little tricky. So what I like to do is kind of lift my chin and snuggle my shoulders closer together, push into the elbows and lift up to the elbows first, and then from there onto the hands and all the way back up. Woo, let's do the other side. Unwind that left leg always. If you need a little massage after any pose, don't ignore the body. Give it some love. All right, let's go ahead. Take the right knee out, the right leg out, the left foot in. Sit bones side by side, toes in a straight line. Inhale, reach up, big old breath. Exhale, lengthen your spine like you want to kiss your toes, fold over your right leg. So lots of good lower body opening up here, from hips to hamstrings to calves, and even a little bit of quads here, and psoas. So this is a great practice as well for those of us who are pretty active, maybe running, walking, spinning, getting that lower body just loosened up. So you can do more of what you love, right? Get out there and get after it. All right, look up towards your toes. Inhale, lift up. We'll take that left knee skyward, left foot to the floor. We're wrapping the arm and then turning into that leg. Put the left hand behind you and find that twist. Now, you can be passive in a stretch where you're just kind of, I got into it and then I kind of just hang out in it. I prefer active in the stretch, continuing to put a little bit of energy into it, like I'm working just a little bit for it. So in that case, my right leg is active, it's still pushing down, my toes are lifted, not just falling out, and I'm turning with intention. All right, let's unwind. Great work. You might just slide onto that left sit bone for a second to move the right foot back. You'll notice here that I stay on the top of my foot. I do know some students prefer a little turn out like froggy. I think it's a bit more effective if you can turn onto the top of your foot, but avoid any cramping. And then the right knee goes diagonal just a slight bit, and the left shin parallels the front of the mat. Okay, check in, see how you're feeling, level your sit bones to the best of your ability, and then let's go ahead and work our way back. First, we come to those forearms. If that's where we stay, it's no problem. Just decide where you want your head, looking forward or looking back or somewhere in the in-between. If you're going to stay on those elbows, don't start to hold pressure up in your shoulders. Keep mindful of that. If you're coming on down to lay back, go ahead and soften as much as you can into your mat. I know it gets really spicy here. Use your breath. The breath is going to be the medicine for these tissues and ligaments and tendons that need this stretch. The breath is going to be the medicine for the mind as we're calming all of our thoughts, coming to our present moment. Allowing that back to release to any amount that you can. Don't hold the tension there. A few more breaths. I know we've got this. Good. Press into the back of the head. Move those elbows back to the floor. If you were all the way down, then press up to those hands. Woo. Unwind those legs. Give that right knee just a little bit of love if it needs it. And then both soles of the feet on the floor. We're going to come down to our backs, but let's go ahead and do it with our core intact. So shoulders on the back, chest on the front, hands out. If that's not available, you can always grab behind the thighs, but don't depend too heavily on that. And then just lean and hinge back, rolling down to the floor. Oh, feels so good right after an active practice. We're going to take those feet a little bit wider and just take some windshield wipers here. Side to side. We don't have to be too slow with them, even though we're slowing down our breath and movement a little bit. We're still keeping this good energy that's going to carry us through the rest of our day. Very nice. Go ahead, slide the soles of the feet together, Supta Baddha Konasana, and let those knees drop open. Now, if this is a little too intense, you could put your blocks underneath the thighs for a little support, but don't have it holding them up. We really want to find a spot where we feel as though our hips are stretching, releasing. And if we feel that we're doing this, like clenching fists in our hip sockets right now, I'm going to ask that you just close your eyes and feel as though a fist is opening up slowly. So just, you can even do it with your hands if you want as well. Letting the fingers float open. And then that's how it is in our hips. We're just taking what is gripping and releasing the tension, opening it up, softening the grip. Again, translates into the low back sometimes, so go ahead and breathe into that low back and just imagine peeling back some layers of ache out of the back. Don't worry if your legs shake a little bit here. That often happens as those deeper tissues begin to stretch and warm. Maybe they've been tight for a long time. As we're resting here in this position, if we've been feeling any anxiety, any low level energy or depression. That's okay. It happens to all of us. But go ahead and feel like you can choose to lighten that load a little bit today. Think of whatever's going on in your life like a faucet that's just flowing, 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 and you walk up to the faucet, and maybe we can't shut the faucet all the way off today, but we can turn it down, maybe to a steadier flow or even a trickle. All right, slowly, and it might help to bring the hands right outside those thighs. Work the legs back together, oof, and then knees to the chest. Give yourself a little hug for showing up today. Rock around on the back so that you're massaging your back down into the earth. Take as much time as you'd like right here. And then eventually, we're just gonna lay out on our mats, but not for long, because I know we've got things to do, places to be, and we're keeping our energy moving. We're moving that sluggish kapha energy today. So, sprawl out, open up, exhale into your mat. Close your eyes without squinting. Come back to your breath. For these few moments, we'll let it feel as though our muscles are completely now just melting off of the bones and giving them a little much needed respite after a long, hard practice. But we're feeling so good, so proud of ourselves, so energized. See if you can sense the pulsing just underneath the skin, the blood flowing through your system, the life force, the energy, the prana making its way through you. Take a full inhale breath now through the nose, and a deep exhale, sigh through the mouth. Let's start to slowly wiggle our fingers and our toes, round the wrists and the ankles. Take your head from side to side, massaging the back of the skull down into the mat. Good. Extend those arms up overhead. Bring those legs together and extend them down the mat like you're stretching first thing in the morning. Yawning that body open, ready for the rest of the day. Let's roll on to the right side, fetal position. Let your bottom arm, your right arm, work as a pillow to rest your head on. Think of this as a transition from whatever's come before your practice into whatever's going to come next. Now you have the energy to get out there and go do those things. Straighten your top leg a bit, bring your top hand to the floor, and then press your way back up to your seat. All right, sit up nice and tall. Close the eyes and just take a moment to feel the difference from when you started this practice to now, specifically in your energy body. What might have felt heavy and I'm not really sure I want to come to my mat today might now feel a little lighter, a little more energetic, empowered. Let's gather one more time some great energy. Reach those arms up on an inhale, breath, gaze up. exhale all of that good energy down into the heart center. Breathe it in. Plant the seed as thumbs press in. Thank you for allowing me to guide you in your week 1 practice. Again, you can do this several times week 1. Getting the practice into the body and lifting that energy. The light in me honors and salutes the light within you. Namaste. Perfect. Great job. All right. So continue this practice all through week 1. Come back to it whenever you need to. And then in week 2, we'll have a whole new series for you, okay? Thank you. Bye-bye.